Welcome to the Crush It in Sales podcast. I'm your host, Melinda Van Fleet. This podcast focuses on the intersection of sales, leadership, and personal development. Now let's get ready to dig in and crush it. Hi, everyone. Thank you in advance for joining me this week on the Crush It in Sales podcast. I have had a really busy 2 weeks, and I haven't had a solo podcast on this podcast in a while, so I'm actually really excited to chat with all of you today. I want to start out with a couple thank yous. The first is thank you so much to everyone that has been super supportive, bought the book, left a review, left even comments, likes, or shares on social media. And the book I'm referring to is the book Brilliant Breakthroughs for the Small Business Owner. It's the 4th annual, and we hit international bestseller in 4 countries and best-selling business book and bestseller in at least 10 categories. I know things shift and change around, but they felt comfortable saying at least 10. So that's fantastic. Super excited for our team, super excited for small businesses. And it's just really been an awesome experience. I've been talking about it. I've had several co-authors on this podcast, and it's just really, really cool. So I highly encourage you to find some way to collaborate with others in order to reach your goals. So as I've mentioned, being a best-selling author was a goal I had for 2020. And then I was like, how is this going to happen? And I manifested it happening. And I took action and I did the work and brought my husband along for the journey. Because a lot of the stories in our chapter, if you haven't read the chapter, a lot of the stories in our chapter are about our business, Good Karma Sport Fishing, which I often say is his business, but technically it's ours. And he likes to correct me, which I think is really sweet and beautiful, and something that I'll be talking about more as I'm starting to work on my book series, which will be about confidence, and each book will have a different theme. So the first confidence book I'm working on is in regard to couples. So stay tuned, hold on, I'm working hard. I've got a lot of ideas percolating in my brain, so it's been a little crazy. So I just want to give a shout out again to everyone that was supportive, helpful, bought the book, left reviews, any which way you want to slice and dice it. Every little bit of positive energy and support towards Ryan and I, towards the whole COA team has been fantastic. So again, it's Brilliant Breakthroughs for the Small Business Owner. It's the 4th volume, which is purple. If you go online, it's the purple cover. It's gorgeous, amethyst. And I will put a link in the show notes as well. And our chapter is on confidence, building confidence along with a successful business from the ground up. That was the name of our chapter. So that's announcement number 1. Number 2 is an email I received from someone on the same day as our book launch. So it got a little lost, unfortunately, in the swirl of the book launch and all the emails and all the social media posts and everything we do to launch a book. And I felt bad about it, and I stumbled upon it, and I wanted to give it some time because it was just a really amazing email. And the email is from a woman named Amy Kopadis, and I hope I pronounced her name right. And she works for a CRM company called Close. And it looks like just more than a CRM company in regard to energy, spirit, teamwork. Their website's just really cool. And I'm not, someone who's an affiliate, so I just want to put this out there. I really genuinely and authentically hope you check out their website because I was really blown away. And the email that she sent me was out of the blue. I don't know her. And I hope to know her. I'm going to do some more connecting, but this all just happened and I wanted to share this week on a podcast. And she put together an email, which put together, I believe, the top 20 sales podcasts out there. And she put this podcast in that bank of other podcasts. And quite an honor, because when I scroll through the other podcasts that are listed, Jeffrey Gitomer is listed, The Brutal Sales is listed, lots of people. Someone else I'm going to be connecting with shortly is listed, and it's just really cool. And what I also love is that she actually listened to my podcasts and understood my vibe. So I'm going to read this because as I continue to build my audience, continue to do self-work, and get stronger and have things move and shift and change for me, I just loved that she got me. And I thought that was just really cool. So I'm going to read what she wrote in the blog, the posting that they did. More than just a sales tip podcast, host Melinda creates a lively conversational space that feels more like discussing problems with your best friend than listening to a sales guru. Thank you. That's it. That's what I want to be. I want to be that person that you go to lunch with and you feel that you can have that honest, authentic conversation without HR looking over your shoulder, because you know what? Yeah, sometimes it sucks. And there's just things and tips and tools that you can do to move through it, to change your mindset, to level up, to find a better job if you need to, or start your own business if that is what your path in life is. And that is how I feel. Like, I don't feel I want to speak to corporations unless they're truly authentic and transparent and not passive aggressive, and they truly care about their employees and they want to hear what their employees have to say. Because heck, I just was let go from a situation where, you know what, that's exactly what was happening. They don't want to hear me. It's a do it culture, be quiet and do it culture. And that, unfortunately, is what still exists out there. So if I can be your friend and have that honest, true, authentic, transparent conversation to help you move through situations so you can live your best life, then that is my purpose. And that is why I do this podcast. So thank you, Amy. I have the chills. I'm just so honored, and I really appreciate that you put this together. So I look forward to connecting. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, what I wanted to talk about today, which reverts back into thinking about buckets, is, as you know, we're nearing the end of the year. And, in the past, I have had great success hustling and grinding through the month of December. And I think I've even talked about that before, because other people tend to take a back seat, spend more time with their families, spend more time doing other things. They kind of get out of their mojo. They get out of the groove, and, they just kind of start to shut down. So in the past, I've always felt like, oh yeah, now I'm just ready to really go crush it, because there's people that are slacking, right? So, I'll pick up their blessings. Let's do this thing. So what's interesting is, with lots of universe things that are happening, and I'll probably talk more about that on the Good Karma Success Coach podcast, but if you have a spiritual knowledge, and you might understand what I'm saying, but we're kind of in this pattern in the world where we're just a little bit stuck. And some people are more stuck than others. And this does not actually have to do with COVID or the election. It's really just the planets and what's going on. So I have been that person. I have been that person that's been stuck. And even in the last couple weeks, I got stuck creatively by ending up listening to someone that was, obviously promoting their services, and it just got me all in my head. So what I want you to think about is where you are at and where you are feeling. And granted, companies like to put on pressure. I totally get that. And then I also understand that if you let up, if you are an overachiever like I am, if you are a very big take action person like I am, when you let up on the gas and you take a couple hours even a day off to go sit outside or spend more time with your family or do different things, you start to feel the guilt creep in. Oh, the guilt. I've just really had to work on the guilt. I should be making more phone calls. I should be sending more emails. And the guilt really can creep in on you. But at the end of the day, that guilt doesn't help you. That's just your ego and your lower mind. So you really have to find a way to work on letting go and letting some things just kind of come together and gel together. So I want you to think about where you are and how you're feeling, because this is what all plays together. So if you're pushing for sales calls and no one's getting back to you and you're getting frustrated and then you feel like, oh my gosh, am I sounding desperate? Am I being pushy? That is not the energy you want to be in. And people can feel that. And then you don't feel good either. Like you kind of feel yucky and stuck. So think about how you're doing. You might be fine. And this is where I'm going to go into the buckets. So bucket number 1, you might be fine. You're like, my business is humming. Everything's great. I don't have a yucky feeling. I don't feel pushy. I feel like I'm going to crush December. That's awesome. And kudos to you. That is fantastic. Then you have people in the middle that are struggling with this a little bit. You might have good days. You might have bad days. You might be just kind of at a flat place where some people are getting back to you and some people aren't, but in general, you're okay. So if you're in bucket number 2, think about just some ways to raise your energy to get back up a little bit. And that could be things we've talked about before, which is, not watching the news, turning off social media. If you need to post and walk away. Make sure you're talking to other sales reps that are positive, because that can be something that can bring you down. And you can just politely text someone back and say, hey, I'm really busy. I'll talk to you later. I do that a lot. So, just save that energy and that conversation for another time. And just try to keep your energy in a really good neutral to positive place as best as you can. And bucket number 2 and bucket number 3 are going to go together in regards to you're not alone. So if you are struggling and you're having some bad days and you're like living for the weekend, then just know you're not alone and that this energy and everything will start to shift in the new year. If you're in bucket number 3, like I was, you got to take a break. So I really had to take a break for a few days, and I just did what I needed to do. I did not ignore any clients. I did not post. I just wasn't my super overachiever, take action person. And I wrote a blog about it. I wrote my newsletter about it. And I just went more inside myself to just try to move through it. And I do realize that December might be rocky as well. And I've just accepted that. I've accepted that, and I have a roadmap to follow that I feel good about. And it's going to focus more on writing, which is my goals and intentions and everything I'm working on, but keep up all my other things that I do too. Obviously helping my husband, like I mentioned, my clients, and, just trying to keep more balance and let go of some of this other stuff. Because let me tell you, the noise on social media is going to get louder as more and more coaches and experts are going to be trying to sell you their programs, are going to be trying to get you to follow them, to be in their groups, etc. And I totally get it, because in general, I'm playing in that space a little bit too. So I'm not trying to say I'm not, but just be aware of that and who you're following in order to protect your energy. So again, try to put things in buckets, because when you put things in buckets in your brain, it just alleviates a lot of pressure. It takes the pressure off and just helps you see things more clearly. So bucket number 1, you're not struggling, you're good. Bucket number 2, you have some good days and some bad days, and try to move through the bad days and keep positive or at least neutral as best as possible. And bucket number 3 is you were like me and you needed a break. And you need to let go and realize that let's just get through this year as best as we can. Be kind to others, be kind to ourselves, live with grace, and know that better days are ahead and we will all get through this and you are not alone. So I really hope that this helps someone out there. Please share this podcast with a friend, a family member, a coworker, someone out there. There is a lot of struggle and it's more than ever. So being kind to someone you see at the grocery store, or if someone is negative to you, just smile and walk away. There's nothing you can do about the other person, but you can manage yourself. You can manage your own behaviors, your own reactions, your own thoughts, your own emotions. And all of those are super important and things to be aware of as you move through your day. So that's all I have this week. And again, thank you to everyone that supported our book, our chapter, and thank you to Amy from Close. I look forward to connecting further. And let's see, you can follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. The website that I'm updating as a dominant website is goodkarmasuccesscoach.com. You will find our free mini course on confidence on that website. You can also sign up for my Monday newsletter, which is called Monday Mojo, which always has tips on how to live your best life. And when you sign up for the newsletter, you get the freebie, which is Believe and Take Action, which will just help you feel better. I want to feel better. I want to feel good all the time. And I really think that that is what I can help people with as well. So as I'm learning things, I'm sharing them. And I share them via my newsletter, I share them via blogs, and I share them via podcast. And I also share them in my private Facebook group, which is called Good Karma Vibes. So I look forward to connecting with you further. I would love to hear from you. Please feel free to reach out. And until then, I hope you crush it in sales. Thanks for listening.